Welcome to Solar 101 for Missouri homeowners. Eric and I are both with Straight Up Solar, and we're very excited to have you join us this evening to talk about the basics of solar and the incentives and opportunities in Missouri. So my name is Shannon Fulton. I'm Vice President of Development with Straight Up Solar. I joined Straight Up Solar back in 2013 as an installer and designer. And since that time, I have sort of migrated toward the policy and development side, and I lead our Central Illinois office here in Bloomington, which is where I am today. My background, so I'm also a vice president of the Illinois Solar Energy Association, Energy and Storage Association Board. And I'm on the board with the Parklands Foundation, Land Trust. And my educational background is all with Illinois State University here in Normal, in the areas of geology, geohydrology, and renewable energy. And Eric Schneider has joined us today. He is Director of Business Development. He it leads our business development and marketing team for the company, and he serves on the board of directors of the Missouri Solar Energy Industries Association as well. So both Eric and I sort of come from the policy and advocacy side of the business. Straight Up Solar was founded in 2006, and it serves both Illinois and Missouri. Those are the territories that we work in. Since 2006, we've installed 2,800 installations, over 53 megawatts, and our focus is all projects behind the meter. So solar that serves an on-site demand, ranging from small residential up to large commercial industrial systems, to include battery storage, smart panels, EV charging, and we have a growing service and operations and maintenance department to take care of our ever-growing list of systems and systems that were originally constructed by other companies. We have over 120 employees, and over 50% of us have what is considered gold standard solar training and certification, the NABCEP certification, which is the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. And we are part of the Amicus Solar Cooperative and are a certified B corporation. Our company was founded, as I mentioned, back in 2006 by Dr. Dane Glick. Dr. Glick was doing his residency in orthopedic surgery in Kentucky, and among other things, witnessed the impact of mountaintop removal and coal mining on the local population that he was seeing in the hospital, and decided that he wanted to do something about that to offset the impacts of the fossil fuel industry. And when he started his practice in St. Louis, decided that he wanted to put solar on his own home. And at that time, back in 2005, 2006, there were no companies doing that sort of thing in the Midwest. And so he decided to get certified. He was the first NABCEP certified person in the state of Missouri, built his own system, and then started a solar company shortly thereafter to build more. So from that initial system back in 2006 to now 2,800 solar photovoltaic systems, we have grown quite a bit since that time when Dr. Glick installed his first system. I mentioned that Straight Up Solar is a certified B corporation. What that means is that we consider and prioritize people, planet, and profit all on the same plane. We recognize that if we don't prioritize the health of the planet and the well-being of the people who work here, we won't have a profitable company. And if we don't have a profitable company, we can't do the things that this company does so well in installing photovoltaic systems and benefiting the folks in our company. So we recognize each of those people, planet, and profit are interrelatable, and each requires a focus to ensure that one is not prioritized over the other. And we go through a third-party review. What it means to be a B Corp also means that we go through a third-party review to ensure that our practices and policies that we are transparent with our practices and policies, and that they lead to us prioritizing the well-being of people and planet as well. Our clear values are to care for our community, lead the energy transition, educate everyone. This gets to the advocacy work that Eric and I do. Advocate also with purpose, respect people and planet, and in everything we do within the company, we try to embody an excellence, whether it's through education with you today, or as we install and service the solar electric systems that we build. And Eric, I'll pass it to you to go over today's topics and a number of the rest of the slides.
Great, thank you, Shannon, for that excellent introduction. Again, my name is Eric Schneider. I'm the Director of Business Development here in Straight Up Solar. I have the honor of working with Shannon Fulton every day in our marketing department. Appreciate your time in joining us here on Solar 101 for Missouri homeowners. I want to say, first of all, that today's webinar is being recorded, and we will post it on our YouTube channel. Everybody who registered for today's presentation will also get the slideshow via email after, probably tomorrow, if not the next day, for today's presentation. And as we go through today's presentation, feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Shannon will be kind of sorting them through, and I'll go through the presentation, and then we'll have plenty of time for questions and answers here. So we hope this is an informative and educational presentation of solar energy here. We're going to cover the bases of how solar energy works, the benefits of going solar, an ideal home layout, some of the considerations we use in designing a solar PV system, and PV stands for photovoltaic. Some of the add-ons you can do with a solar system, for instance, a battery storage, electric charger, electric panel upgrade. What are the financial incentives if you're a Missouri homeowner to go solar? Talk about the 5 steps to go solar here at Straight Up Solar, and again, we'll answer your questions and answers. So let's dive right into how solar energy works. We have a little video here that explains how it works. I'm going to play the video, and then I'll kind of go over it piece by piece here.
Eric, we're not hearing the audio for some reason.
Well, let it go with the music. You hum to yourself. So just to recap, the solar array, the sun hits the panel, it excites electrons in the solar modules. Each of the modules, which we'll go over in a moment, have electrons that get excited. They move down wires throughout the solar module. They're all connected into an array. The energy moves down into an inverter. The sun creates direct current energy, and the inverter switches it to be usable for your home into alternating current. That's what we call from DC to AC inversion here. The energy goes first into your electrical panel for use into your house first, and then any excess electricity goes out to your meter and then out to the grid in a process called net metering, which we'll get to later in today's presentation. Solar panels are made out of silicon, which is mined out of the earth here. We have three types of solar modules that are used in a solar PV system. The ones that we use most in our solar panels are monocrystalline. It's a one cut of a crystal cell. Solar panels tend to have 60 cells or 72 cells in one module. When the crystals are merged together, that's called a poly type of module. And the final one is a thin film, which you are typically known for, like solar shingles, which are also called built-in photovoltaics that tend to be a little less efficient than the mono and the poly. The module is laid inside of glass and then put around a metal frame here. About 95% of the materials inside a solar panel can be recycled, and in terms of crushing the glass, recycling the metal, and then you're just really left with the silicon and the wires inside here. Solar panels are pretty strong. They can withstand hail, a 1-inch hailstone, going up to 50 miles an hour, which in most cases, most of our storms are less than that in terms of our hailstorms here in the Midwest here. The snow melts off the panel, so in most snowy days, usually the next day, you're up and running and getting full solar power in the wintertime. And then in the summer and the spring, they do absorb dirt and grit, but you can just take them off either with a hose, or usually our heavy thunderstorm rains can clear off a solar panel here. So by and large, solar panels don't require much maintenance here. Some of the benefits or reasons our customers have gone solar typically fall into three buckets. One is protection against rising energy costs. You have the ability to offset 100% of your energy use with a solar array, which locks in your energy costs for the 25, 30-year life of the solar PV. Energy independence. You can, again, not only offset all the energy that you're using for your home, but you can also tie it in with a battery storage or electric charger and really control how much energy you're using from the grid and how much you're producing for yourself. And finally, like our couple here in the picture here, environmental motivation. You really want to lower your carbon footprint, take advantage of clean energy sources for your home, and not be as reliant on some of the fossil fuels that our main utility grid tends to use. Let's talk about the ideal solar layout here. When we're designing a solar home, the first thing we look at is the orientation and the slope and height of the roof here. Basically, south-facing roofs are the best. Flat roofs are the best because that allows us to basically angle the modules to the correct elevation to gather the most sunlight here. This example on the right, the very light yellow shows the highest concentration of sun on the roof, and in the purple shows the worst situation or the shadiest part of the roof here. So again, north in this example, north is where all the purple is. The very light yellow is in the south. West and east, because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, you still get pretty good solar production, but it's about 15% less than southern exposure here. Again, flat tends to be easiest for us to install, easiest for us to tilt the panels to the right dimensions, but we definitely can work on all types of roofs. Even the steepest roofs, we were able to latch everybody in and kind of rappel and put shingles on almost a 45-degree angle roof here. Age and type of roof is very important. We only install on solar shingles, on asphalt shingles, on flat roofs with like a membrane surface here. And those are the two main ones that we install on. We also install on metal seam roofs. So the reason we do that, that reduces the amount of penetration on the shingles, and we tend to just put our penetrations on the trusses of the roof, so minimizing the amount of leakage exposure you have for an installation. Solar panels last about 25 to 30 years. So you really want to have a young roof when we put on the solar system. You want your solar PV system to last as long as your roof, because a remove and replace, we do offer that. That tends to add cost to your solar PV system here. Another efficiency thing is we really like to look for one line to put the array on, one kind of good square area on the roof. When you start putting multiple arrays, kind of these little Lego blocks on your system, that reduces the efficiency of the multiple of the system, and can also increase cost here. And finally, I want to mention it's important when we talk to you and develop a solar proposal, we have a good understanding of the municipal and the utility regulations. What are the setbacks for the roof? What are the electrical building code requirements in the town? Make sure that we are corresponding with our design to the right code requirements. And finally, check with your homeowners associations. In Missouri, there's a new legislation that homeowners associations cannot ban solar in their neighborhood. However, they can regulate the look and the placement of the array here. So check with your association on what their policies are, but you do have rights as a solar homeowner to put a solar panel in your home in Missouri. So let's talk specifically about designing your system. If there's one thing you walk away with, I hope it's this term. What's a kilowatt and what's a kilowatt hour? The kilowatt is a measurement of capacity or how big your array is. In the solar industry, we talk about a size of an array as the number of kilowatts your system is. I have a 10 kilowatt system. That shows the peak power that your array can produce at a moment in time. But when you take those moments in time and put that over an hour, that's what's called a kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour is the most important measurement you need to know, the most important unit you need to know when you're looking at your energy bill. Using it in a sentence, my home used more kilowatt hours of electricity this month than last month. So let's take a look at how we would apply the word kilowatt hour to your energy bill. Ameren, Missouri, every month provides a nice bar graph of your energy usage per month. The number above the dot is the number of kilowatt hours you use in a month. The average American home uses 11,000 kilowatt hours, and Ameren does a really nice job over the course of years showing your home against an energy efficient home and against a normal home here. You really want to understand what your energy goals are. How much energy are you using in the house? How much do you want to offset with a solar energy system? Do you want 100% or 50% or 70% here? Do you plan to add more electrical features like a heat pump, like electric oven, electric dryer? Are you going to add an electric vehicle charger? All those add up to more kilowatt hours that your house is going to need to operate here. And finally, does your utility limit energy generation? That's a very important question, and your project developer should know the answer to that for your area utility. For Ameren, Missouri, the limitation is 100% of your current usage. However, Ameren does provide exceptions if you're able to tell them that I'm planning on putting an EV charger in the next year. I'm planning to swap out my natural gas range for an electric heat pump. You're able to kind of get an amendment to that 100% limitation rule here. So we take your goals, how much you want to offset, understanding how much energy you consume, and then we start designing your system panel by panel. Each panel has a nameplate designation for how many watts it can generate at peak capacity. In this example, we're using an REC brand solar panel, and each of the panels at max capacity that produce 410 watts. So you start multiplying that by 28, you can get 11.5 kilowatt DC system. As I showed in the example, we take direct current, that's with the sun hitting the solar panels, but it has to be flipped for your house. That's called alternating current. The inverter then takes that direct current and basically massages this, but it produces a lower energy value at 9.8 kilowatts of peak energy as alternating current. Those are all calculated based on how the sun shines on those nameplate panels here. So in this specific example, the yield of kilowatt hours to kilowatt DC was 1,303. Typically, your home will be ranging from 1,200 to 1,400 kWh divided by kW. You don't need to know that statistic. I just felt like being a smarty pants and sharing it with you. But your project developer will have that on hand and be able to tell you what those different kWh values are depending on the orientation of your home. All that flows into the energy production of year one and into the energy offset. In this particular example, we had 102% offset because we were adding an EV charger to the house here. So this is what you should look for. Anytime you get a good proposal from a company, make sure they can explain to you, A, what panels they're using, what inverter they're using. The relationship between the panels and the inverter dictates how much energy is going into your house. Making sure you understand the orientation of the panels, where the sun is shining, how the shade is affecting the energy generation from month to month, and then determining what your offset is for your home. That all goes into a really good solar proposal and a really great PV system design and layout. Right, solar energy has the benefit of being really strong between March and October. And in most cases, for most people's home, even when they're running the air conditioning, the sun, when it's at a peak in the sky between, say, April to end of September, you're going to be overproducing. In this graphic right here, the green line and the green mountain here shows the energy produced by our solar PV system. And the bars show the energy consumption by the home here. That gap between the bar and the green shaded area is the excess energy that's being sent out to the grid. This trading of back and forth, and when we install a solar system into your house, we put a bi-directional meter on your home. So the energy is being traded back and forth. Electricity goes into the house and then out to the grid if there's an excess. Amren's able to count that with this bi-directional meter and give you credit for everything that you overproduce during the daytime. You get a credit and you can use that at nighttime at the same rate. And then everything that you produce excess gets paid out at a wholesale rate. So let's take a look at how this plays out on your bill. Here's an example of one of my coworkers who has a solar array on his house. This is actually a May bill from last year. He produced more than 142 kilowatt hours of energy in the course of the month here. That excess energy, those 142 kilowatts, then was sent back to the grid, and he's paid at 2.8 cents per kilowatt hour by Ameren. If you notice a little above that, you can see the retail rate is 8.7 cents. So when he's trading net metering credits from the morning to the night within the day, he's getting that retail rate. The excess gets the wholesale rate. But the key factor I want to show you is that in these overproduction months, you're getting a zero energy charge because your net kilowatts are zero. You still pay a total service amount. You'll still pay probably a little bit of a municipal charge if your town charges a tax on electricity here. You are still tied on the grid. I also want to leave you with that point here. We're going to talk about battery storage in a moment, but you're always tied to your utility when we install straight up solar here. You're not considered off grid. You can have 100% of your energy generated by solar energy, but you're still tied on the grid. So if the power is out, you're out. So let's talk a little bit about those PV system add-ons here, and we'll jump right into your ability to control your energy usage really at the touch of a button here when you're talking about electric panel upgrades, you're talking about solar battery storage, and you're talking about EV charger. You're really talking about your solar system being your individualized, customized power plant. We sell two brands of batteries, but our most popular brand of battery that we sell is the Tesla Powerwall. There's the energy consumption of 13.5 kilowatts. What it does, basically, it can be put on the floor or it can be wall mounted. Typically, they're put right next to your electrical panel here. They have a warranty of 10 years here, and you can combine these Tesla Powerwalls together to get a whole house backup solution here. So the example on the left, if you had two of these Powerwalls, they're tied to your main panel, they could back up all the loads in your house. If you just wanted to have essential loads, let's say you want to keep your air conditioner going, your furnace going, maybe a couple plugs in your bedroom and for the computer, we have a separate panel box that we'll create and pull those breakers out. And then the Tesla battery will back up those. So the energy works is that it stores first the energy to power your house. The excess energy then goes to the battery, and then any excess energy when your battery's full then goes out to the grid. So energy flows, again, fills first your house, then the battery, then out to the grid. The other brand we sell is Enphase Exchange. Enphase is a very good solution because you can add smaller battery storage modules within this cabinet here. Both of the Enphase and the Teslas have warranties for 10 years here. They're roughly going to run between 20 and 40,000, but again, our project developer will give you an exact quote on a battery storage here. But I just wanted to highlight both of the examples of Tesla and Enphase. Both of them can provide either your main loads, the key backup loads, or they can provide a whole house energy system here. The next add-on that we sell to our customers is called a span panel. It's an electric panel upgrade that is really a thin design flush mount right up to your wall. Typically, they're right next to your electrical panel. They're actually serve as the electric panel for your house here. And what you're doing in a span panel is that you're able to control individual circuits during the day and during the battery storage, when you need battery storage to power those circuits here. So let's say you wanted to reduce your energy while you're in the daytime, you can turn off some circuits if no one's in the house. If you're really mad at your kid who's playing too many video games, you can turn off the circuit in your house to stop him or her from playing video games here. The cool feature about these electric panel upgrades, because you're able to manipulate the circuits and the amount of energy going into each load, you can then have a longer battery life when the battery goes down. Span says that you can get a 40% longer battery duration when paired with their product here, because you're able to figure out which loads are required, which circuits in your house are requiring a lot of energy loads and which ones are unnecessary and can be turned off. So this way, you really have a good hands-on control of where energy needs to go and where energy is being spent. So that's called a span panel. That's also called an electric panel upgrade. The final add-on that works a lot with solar energy is an EV charger. We sell a variety of electric charger brands here. This is a pedestal one that's here in our office. If you happen to be by Maryland Heights at Lackland and Schutz, feel free to stop by. You can charge your car right outside our office during non-work hours. Electric vehicle chargers we sell are the level 2 chargers, which charge 10 to 20 miles per hour of charging. So a typical battery is probably 300-mile range. So it might take all day to charge something from the 20% to the 80% level here. Electric vehicle chargers are eligible for the 30% investment tax credit up to $1,000. That is a non-refundable credit. And as I talk about incentives, I want to give a disclaimer that I'm not a tax professional, and I encourage you to talk to your accountant or your tax professional to understand exactly how the tax credit will apply to your situation here. So let's dive into the financial incentives for Missouri homeowners. By living in the United States of America, all Missourians are eligible for a 30% tax credit on your solar photovoltaic system. That includes the labor costs, the system installation, and the interconnection wiring. So everything involved in the assembly and installation of the system is eligible for 30% tax credit. Straight Up Solar is a turnkey operator. So all the costs from permitting to design to wiring to installation to commissioning is all done by Straight Up Solar. So we will give you one cost. We can give you that information for your accountant to take advantage of that credit. There's no maximum credit, but it's, again, a tax credit. You have to have tax appetite. So it's a dollar for dollar reduction off your tax liability. You are able to carry that forward one more year. So in many cases, sometimes the tax credit, because it's non-refundable, might not work for seniors who have low tax appetite. The home must be owned by taxpayers, but it does not have to serve as your principal residence. So you could have your vacation home install solar and get a 30% tax credit. So that's the main tax credit for Missouri. I just want to mention that last year, Ameren offered a 25-cent a watt rebate. That rebate no longer exists in the state of Missouri because Ameren was able to meet the renewable portfolio standard goals for the state of Missouri here. So Missourians are eligible just for the federal investment tax credit at 30%. So let's kind of close a little bit about the process of what you should look for when choosing a solar company. Again, I'm really proud to work at Straight Up Solar. Shannon gave a great overview of the values of this company, where we stand, our belief in putting people and planet over our profitability goals. But I wanted to mention, first of all, as I talked earlier about solar PV design, when you meet with your project developer, make sure you are comfortable asking him or her all the questions that you have. For instance, making sure that you understand, how is this solar system going to look on your roof here? Are there aesthetic issues that you're looking for? And maybe even your homeowner association requires all black panels, black back-facing panels. So when you look up from the sky, it all kind of blends into your roof here. Do you live in an area with lots of squirrels jumping on and off your roof here, or birds nesting here? Then you're going to want to have critter guard that's going to protect them from festering underneath your panels and eating your wires. Again, I mentioned we're a turnkey project manager. Ask your solar company when you're talking to them, who is going to be on my roof? Am I going to know who my project manager is? Am I going to know my installer? Am I just dealing with a salesperson who's going to pass that job to a subcontractor? I'll never be able to hear from the salesperson. At Straight Up Solar, we know from beginning and end who's going to work on your project and who's going to finish your project here. Ask if your installers are certified. As Shannon mentioned, 50% of our employees here at Straight Up Solar have certification through the North American Board of Clean Energy Practitioners. It's called NABCEP. Shannon and I are both NABCEP certified here, which means that we know what we're doing. We do solar every day, and we can adjust on the fly if questions come up, and we have a great resources available to us here. And finally, you want to make sure that your company is giving you an owner's guide and walking you through your system and showing you how it works, showing you what the inverter display should look like when it's operating correctly, showing your monitoring display so you can see on your cell phone at all times if your monitoring system, if your solar PV system is working, and any monitoring messages that you should be getting. So that's very important that when it's installed, it's working well, and we make sure that our customers with the owner guide and our walkthrough commission, that everything is working as it should be before we finish the project here. We back everything up with one of the strongest service departments in Missouri. We have 20 people on our team that will back up our 10-year workmanship warranty for installations, our 10-year production warranty, which means over 10 years, we guarantee that 90% of the energy from day one will be produced on the 10th year of your solar system, or we will pay you back the gap, the financial gap of your energy production. Most panels come with a 25-year panel warranty. Actually, let me rephrase that. All our panels come with a 25-year warranty. In addition to the inverters and batteries have their own warranties, tend to be between 10 and 12 years here. So I want to leave you with this slide that whatever company you go with, and of course, we believe Straight Up Solar is the best. We have plenty of 5-star reviews I encourage you to check out on Google. We make sure that you understand the warranties and make sure that you are comfortable when you leave the project here. And here's our happy solar customers. They're doing our solar smile because their hands are outreached and they're really proud to be getting the power of the sun into their house. I saw Austin Bennett was on the call here. Maybe Austin installed some of these pictures here all across the St. Louis metropolitan area here. If you're interested in getting started with solar, Shannon will drop in the chat a way that you can get started on your quote with solar. You can get started by sharing some basic information with our solar support specialist. Have your energy bill on hand, or be able to scan it and share it with it. Because again, that's the basis of the conversation, how much energy your home has, how much we want to offset. You're going to get that customized proposal and have a really good discussion of the solar panels, how much they produce, what angle they're going to be on your roof, how we're going to install it, what the cost is, what the incentives is. That's all done in our project development stage in our conversation. If you're happy about that, you sign a contract and you're ready to go solar, you go through 3 through 5 in our process here. We will sign you a project manager. That one person will be your point of contact for every part of the project. He or she will tell you when we're filing the permits, when the permits have been approved, when our crew is coming, when your materials have been ordered. Every step of the process, you'll be in communication with a project manager right here in Maryland Heights. Then we'll give you installation date, and typically an installation takes 2 to 3 days for a normal home to get installed. Then again, we work with your city or your county to make sure that the building permit is correct, and the electrical permit is correct, everything is working as appropriate, then 30 days later, Ameren Missouri will come in and install that bi-directional meter again. So that way you'll be tracking the energy going into your house and the energy going out to the grid here. Then again, after that 30 days, your system will be working. You'll be enjoying, you yourself will be doing this great solar smile pose because you'll be so happy that the sun is working on your home and you're now clean energy driven for your home usage here. And with that, I appreciate your time and a little Learning Solar 101. I hope you did find that informative. You can reach out to me at eric.schneider@straightupsolar.com or Shannon at straightupsolar.com. Shannon has been here almost a decade, so she was not able not to have her last name in the email. So I thank her for her experience and longevity here at Straight Up Solar. And with that, Shannon, we'll be happy to answer any questions.